A 40-acre multi-use park and community center is coming to Northwest Phoenix. Also, you may have heard about that amazing emergency light plane landing near Interstate 17. We'll talk about that and more next on The Issues. Welcome to On the Issues. I'm Councilman Dave Siebert. You may have noticed the activity south of Pinnacle Peak Road on 35th Avenue. It's a beautiful new park and community center. Christina Estes has more in this report.
As Cindy Stegman and her family walk around their Northwest Phoenix neighborhood, they're attracted to the tents and crowd.
1, 2, 3, dig!
It's the groundbreaking for the Paseo Highlands Park and Community Center.
Oh, here it is. Oh, be over in the center.
Wonderful. Oh, this is going to be great.
These 40 acres at 35th Avenue near Pinnacle Peak Road will house 2 lighted softball fields, a lighted soccer field, 2 lighted basketball courts, 2 volleyball courts, and playgrounds.
We really want a park because we've got a little 2-year-old, and on weekends we're always heading out to other locations for the park. But we also bought in this area because one of the things that influenced our purchase was that they said they were going to construct a park over here.
Well, I've been looking forward to it being built.
Gary Merrill also likes the location.
It's not far from my house, so kids can walk here. They don't have to pass a busy street or anything.
Paseo Highlands Park will also feature a 48,000 square foot community center for recreational activities, along with some one-stop shopping for city government services.
We're also going to bring in services for the seniors with human services. We're going to bring in neighborhood policing services with the police department, and also for the growth up here and the development, we've also got development services coming in so that the local neighbors, instead of having to travel all the way downtown, can come out and get their building permits.
The Paseo Highland Park and Community Center is part of the Phoenix Parks and Preserve Initiative. 80% of voters approved that initiative. It increased the city sales tax 0.1%. That's 1 penny on a $10 purchase.
We made a promise to the public, and I made it to all my constituents, that if you vote for this, there's something good coming out of it.
Those good things are coming to neighborhoods throughout Phoenix. From the construction of the Steel Indian Park in the Central City to the new Mountain Vista Park in Ahwatukee. Over the next year, many existing city parks will see improvements like new restrooms, drinking fountains, picnic areas, security lighting, and walkways.
Come on, Nick. Ride.
Soon, the Merrill family will be riding around their new park. For On the Issues, I'm Christina Estes.
Joining me today to explain more is Nancy Skinner, Recreation Supervisor with the Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Department. Nancy, welcome.
Thank you.
You know, we have a chance to talk about a new 40-acre park. Tell me what you remember from, let's say, 3 years ago. You remember the neighborhood that didn't want the park?
Well, I remember a neighborhood that did not want a park, and so we were very fortunate with all the ability that you had to go and maneuver to find us a new site. In fact, the new site that we are now going to build, that new park and community center, is going to actually work out better than the old initial one that we were looking at, which was only 25 acres versus a 40-acre park with a brand new community that's being built around it as well.
As I recall, it was a neighborhood that was very concerned about activity around their neighborhood. We had owned the land since 1989, and it was about 1997-98 that the City of Phoenix Parks and Recreation Library Department put in for a light permit, and that's when the problem started.
Yeah, pretty much so. The community at that time, once they realized that we were ready to go forward in that particular project, the numerous ones came out and made it very clear that they did not want any lighted amenities in there. And in this day and age, we truly, in order to build a park and really get, you know, the best deal for our money, we really need to have lighted amenities.
You know, I can remember it. It was a great neighborhood, and they were really concerned about the lights and being close to their homes. So we worked to move the park. We sold the land, we developed it in low-density housing, so they're happy. And then we had to find the new site. And I remember we dealt with the flood control district. They were selling some property, and we were able to obtain, after lengthy negotiations, 40 acres for the tremendous sum of how much money?
$0.
$0.
$0. It was a free purchase.
Free land. It's about $2 million worth of property, as I recall. And it is on the southeast corner of 35th Avenue and Pinnacle Peak Road. Let's talk a little bit about the amenities that are going to be there. Let's start with the community center.
Well, with the community center, we're looking at it'll be just roughly under 50,000 square feet, which will be the largest community center in the city of Phoenix. It'll be 2 stories. It'll have a gymnasium, a running track above. We will be having numerous classrooms, multi-purpose rooms, conference rooms, meeting rooms, a lobby. But the interesting thing with it is we'll also share it with 3 other departments. We'll have the police department, developmental services, where you could get building permits issued to you, and human services, who will provide a senior nutrition program. So it's kind of a one-stop shopping. Instead of having to come all the way downtown to City Hall, we're going to try to bring some of those amenities and services to the citizens in Northwest Phoenix.
Yeah, I can remember when we were talking about community-based policing and have a center and this new concept, and I thought, you know, we just received $2 million worth of property for free. And we took the proceeds from the other park, the land that we sold there, which was about another $1.2 million, and we were combining that. And I said, you know, this has got to be the perfect place for a community-based policing center, because, you know, one of the concerns that the other neighborhood had was, you know, what if there's a problem at the park and the police aren't there? So what better way to solve the problem than to have the police station there and have this center? So there's going to be quite a bit of police activity there, along with all the youth activities that are going to go there. But let's take somebody that, let's say, wants to know what's going to be there. If they had seen a previous multi-generational community center, such as the one at 19th Avenue in Walhalla at the Deer Valley Park, what would they see different in this center?
Really, about the biggest thing that they will notice is it'll be larger, plus it'll be a 2-story. But even the design is going to be different. We're going to try to use a lot of different mediums in terms of steel and glass, concrete work. And it's going to have some flair to it a little bit differently than what we've kind of programmed and designed in the past. So it really should, as you get closer to come into that park and towards that community center, it really ought to entice a lot of excitement for all ages involved.
I noticed that the way they had situated this building on the property, it's on the far northeast corner of the parcel, which is at a higher elevation than the rest of the parcel, and the entrance, the main entrance, is facing towards the mountains, which are to the southwest. And so the view that everybody can have as they're walking in and out of that facility, they'll be able to see over the park, across the Adobe Dam recreational area, and view the beautiful mountains in the distance. And so that's quite amazing in and of itself. Now, for the police department, this is what I think is so neat. You have the departments working together, everybody, police department, development services, human services, and of course Parks, Recreation, Library, all work together in the design. And so how did that work as they were doing the planning process to see who got what square footage and how it all worked together?
Well, ever since when the deal came about to be able to obtain the property, and then with the 3 PI passing, which initially now gave us the money to build it, we've been meeting probably a good 2.5 years now on a very regular basis with all partners from each department, so that we can look at layout of design, safety features, what's going to be functional for each and every one of us as we use the space. And of course, until we get in there, because right now they're just grading the property, there'll be a lot more planning and a lot more meetings taking place as we get an actual structure up and going. So it gives us a good sense on how are we going to move, how are we going to function, and how will we serve everyone who comes to our facility.
I was talking to one of the architects, and he said, you know, it's really nice to see the departments working closely together, because they had to work with the architect to develop something that's this unique, because this is the first of its kind in the city of Phoenix.
Exactly.
And then we had a citizens committee. The citizens committee was put together a few years ago to work on the naming of the park, which is
Paseo Highlands.
Paseo Highlands, and they chose the name, and they also chose the amenities outside of the community center itself. They chose, you know, the recreational activities. So let's talk a little bit about what's out there.
Well, we're going to be having a full-size lighted soccer field, 2 lighted softball fields, 2 lighted basketball courts, volleyball courts, tennis, ramadas, picnicking areas. There'll be a small children's play lot and a larger child's play lot. We'll have sidewalks, the safety area lighting, so we've got quite a variety of activities that really any age could enjoy. We'll have a plaza area out there as well, so that if you want to be, you know, just sit out and read or just enjoy watching your children play somewhere in the park, you'll have that ability.
And along with that, you will have community-based policing center. You'll be able to get your building permits if you so desire, and you'll have some human services available too for every age group really that exists in the city. Well, let's talk about, you know, once we complete all of this, and actually that's quite a bit of recreational activities on a 40-acre site.
Yes, it is.
And I assume that's the reason that you had to go the 2 stories, because there just wasn't enough room. But there's also room enough saved for one special amenity that someday, if we can afford it, a nice big swimming pool that will certainly be great to keep the kids out of trouble in the summertime. And that is planned for which side of the park?
Well, that would be up there on the northwest corner of that property. And it really all come down to the time that when some money can be identified to build a pool there, we'll provide that. That whole area is lacking not only in that park and that community center, but a swimming pool as well. So our hopes are we are kind of preserving and leaving that one little end there available so that when the time comes to build an aquatics facility, we'll be able to do it.
You know, I was talking to Jim Cawley, you know, our wonderful head of the Parks and Recreation Department, and he's just been terrific, and we hear that he's going to retire. But, you know, I was telling him, aren't you proud of, you know, everything that your department has done for the many years you've been here? And he was just, you know, reminiscing about how wonderful it is to see these new facilities come on board, and that he was really the leader from the department to see it come to fruition. But he was also talking about all of the people that are already working for Parks, Recreation, and Library, trying to say that I want to work at this facility. Is that somewhat of an issue?
Well, being the recreation supervisor, I'll be in charge of all the recreation staff there, and yes, I've already got not only my own staff wanting to move over there, but I know the other districts, they're all looking at that opportunity, because it's going to be one of a kind, and it'll set a new standard for our department in terms of a community center.
And it will be done when?
Well, they've already started last week. They've got the fencing up around the property. The construction trailers are out there. The grading is occurring right now, but we expect it to be completed by September of 2002, and we're looking forward to a grand opening in October of 2002.
Well, that's a tight time frame, and we hope we're successful.
Yes, we
Nancy,
do.
thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.